Alright, so this is class exercise number 7, task B, part 2. I'm going to talk to you about, we talked about where you can put the JavaScript in. You can put it in the head section, the body section. Now, the third part you can put in is the external part of your external file with it. So this is up thus far with it. So this is what we have. So underneath this is where we left off from. And again, I'm going to have you go in and put an HR as horizontal rule with this. That just creates a little line across our code with it. And the external part will start in this section with it. I'm using Visual Studio. If you can click on the folder that you have all these files that have where you find your taskb.html. And if you could add a new file for me. And in this new file, I want you to, we're going to create a separate JavaScript file with it. And this JavaScript file that we're going to create, that we're going to call, is called my script with it. So in here, in this task B, this is with amongst other files that you have. Click on that folder, which is today's date. I'm going to click on the new file, and I'm going to call this my script. All right, my script.j.js. Short for JavaScript. That's a file extension. My uppercase the S script with it. So that's, I'm going to hit enter. Now inside of this JavaScript that you have, let me zoom in. You cannot put the script tag. This is just a function, just a bare minimum function that you're going to actually put this in here with it. In all external files, there is no script tags. This is a test question I will ask you, so make sure you understand that well with it. So in here, if you recall, I'm going to have you do a function. It's called function. I'm going to call this thing function, my function. And guess what? I use a function some elsewhere as well. So let me just call this thing my function 2 because we have my function and my function 1. And I'm going to call it just so we don't have the same name with it. All right. And then I'm going to put a left and right parentheses after it, left curly brackets. And inside of this thing, I'm going to still use the document variable with this thing. I'm going to get element by ID with this. And inside of this, I'm going to do demo in parentheses. Demo. I forgot what demo how far are we at demo 3? Yeah, sounds about right with it. Demo 3. Come to the right of that. Dot. Inner HTML is what we're going to still use with it as the variable that follows the ID that we use with it. And I'm going to say this is in a quote. I'm going to say this is a paragraph from an external JavaScript file. Okay, so close that off with it. Come over to the right of that. Come to the right of that quotation, hit semicolon with it. So let me zoom out so you can see the whole line with it. This is what it looks like right here. This is an external file called myfunction2.js, and then I also have a function in there, just a bare minimum function. Again, this is the function head. The function body starts from the curly brackets, left curly brackets, right curly brackets. I'm using the document.getElement by ID. I'm pass across demo 3 with this. All right, same thing. Inner HTML. JavaScript is case sensitive, so you gotta type exactly what I have here with it, or else it won't work with it. Except for when it comes to this literal right here. Okay, so that's different. So Control S saves this. We're gonna come back to task B right now with it. So in task B, I'm gonna come inside of this, and I'm gonna come down here to this bottom part. After the HR section is the horizontal line, horizontal rule with it as well. Let me give this thing a section called H2. Let's call this thing external JavaScript file. Okay. So we know this is coming from an external JavaScript file with this. This next one I'm going to do is a paragraph tag with an ID. Again, I'm going to call this thing demo. I use demo I forgot what I used demo for. Demo 3. That's what I'm going to use because we haven't used demo 3 yet with it. So this is our new one, demo 3 with it. And this is the paragraph that we're going to use over here with it. So I'm going to say a paragraph from external. So we know this is an external JavaScript. Okay. Exercise. Okay, so we separate that out with it. Again, I want to still use that button that we still have with it, but I want to modify the button a little bit with it. So let me grab that button. This is the button right here. Here's the button, and in this button, it's button type is button. Come to the right of that, and I'm going to do on click. And in the on click, I'm going to call the my function. What function is that number again? What function is that number in my JavaScript again? Remember, this is function 2. Okay, make sure this is function 2 right there. So why don't I highlight that? Have the same exact spelling in this, and I want to put this in my function 2 right here. Okay, so that's the my function 2 I'm going to call right here. Come to the right of that quotation. I want to say click me and see the change. Okay, something like that with it. Now in my paragraph, what I'm going to do is down here in my paragraph right now, here's my paragraph, P paragraph tag with it. Now inside of this tag, I'm going to call I'm going to create parentheses here. I'm going to say my function 2 to be exact, right, is stored. I'm going to just give a description. Is stored in an external file call. Put this in parentheses. My script.js. Okay, close that tag with it. So we just want to make sure we have this button on here with it. Now we need to give it a source. This actually is the script tag, right? src, and we're gonna have it linked to our my script. So I'm gonna just click on that, come to the right, and close that script tag. That's it. So I'm pulling in a script tag that's from an external with this. All right. So after I click on this, after I click on it, I will have a button that's going to call try me or click me, see changes with it. And that paragraph message is going to come back. It's going to change from an external page with it. So this needs to be saved. Control S saves it. And I'm going to minimize this. So this looks like this right now. Okay. Hang on. Let me go back here a second. My apology. Look at this. I didn't close my button tag. I'll bet that's why it hasn't brought the button in here. So go back to your code for me, and this is the button right here. And see, I accidentally put the paragraph tags, closing the paragraph tag. That needs to be the closing of the button tag. All right. So here's the closing of the button tag right here. All right, and this right up here needs to be a closing of the paragraph tag. Couple of syntax here. I'm kind of rushing through here with it. Okay, so here is your paragraph tag, closing of your paragraph tag up here with it, and then you have your button tag, closing of your button tag, and then here is your message inside of this thing. I kind of open up the parentheses, but I could have just closed this off. I need to close this off right here as well. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so that's what it should look like right now with it. Take a good look at that before I save it, and then you can pause the video, make sure everything's there with it, and then I'm gonna run this over here, and here's my button come here. Now take a screenshot of this as before, click on it, it should change it. Okay, let's go back there and see what's going on. It didn't call the function properly with it. So it didn't work. Let's see where we went wrong. So when I clicked on click me and see changes. I'm supposed to see the changes, right? Guess what? We're going to take a look at this. We're going to troubleshoot this live. So if you look at this right here for me, look, I called the ID as demo, 3 with this thing. That's fine with it. You can call that as demo 3 with that's no problem with it, but I need to close that that quote off. That's the first thing, right? So that's one. Make sure you have the closing of your demo 3, closing that quote off with it. The other piece is that if you look at the function that I'm calling is my function, I call this function right here. Make sure this function is the same name as the other function I have on the top over here with it. So let me check. Okay, so I gave the same sentence as my point with it. So here's what we need to do. If you could for me in your paragraph ID in here with it, give this a different text. Let's call this thing a paragraph before the click. All right, before the click, before the change or whatever, before the click to change. How's that? So give it a different text with this in the paragraph with it. Now remember, now in your my script tag you have paragraph from an external HTML file with it, a JavaScript file with it. So this is the one that's going to replace this right here when you call this function 2 with it. So here's what I'm take a look at this. Make sure you change the demo 3 to change that with it. Now I'm going to save this. Control S saves it. I'm going to come down to inside of this and let's take a look at our paragraph right now. So a paragraph before the click to change. Click me to see the change. I'm going to click on it. You see it will pull this line right here. Comes from the JavaScript file, your myscript.js file with it. All right. So this will conclude basically the task B part of your entire page with it. This is task B HTML. The 4 sections I like for you to do in this thing as well with it. So this is making sure you take before and after, and I will check in every one of these things. Okay, thank you.